you're ignoring the somewhat strange and arbitrary guidelines from our Wimbling government, and if you're in the UK, you're just staying home, managing to work from home, and keeping yourselves safe. Um, as you will see, I am not in the studio today. I have been doing very little sculpting, painting, anything else for the last few days, because my arm from my wrist here up to just above my elbow joint is very sore and very achy, so I'm applying physio cream to it. Now, I haven't been doing significant amounts of sculpting, so it's a bit frustrating. It may be more related to digging in the garden. Let's claim it's to do with doing housework rather than hobby bits and pieces. But nevertheless, my wife, who is a portrait artist, had a year off, not off, but a year off sick, a couple of years back with a repetitive strain injury in her arm, and she was completely unable to do any work for at least 12 months, and it still hasn't fully healed. She still has to take much more breaks than she used to. She used to work quite long days at it, and it was very distressing for her as a creative person to not be able to do the work that she loved doing, and not really to be able to use her right hand at all. Fortunately, she's back doing work now, but as I say, is much reduced. So I am taking precautions, and am not sculpting at the moment, or certainly not for very long periods, and I'm hoping that 4 or 5 days resting my right arm will sort that out. So resting, icing, elevating. It's really frustrating because I have just got back into into sculpting, and I'm on a bit of a streak, and was hoping to be able to show you some of the stuff that I was working on. Following my previous video on sculpting, when I asked if anyone had any advice on the technique for Jez Goodwin faces, I had quite a nice conversation with Trish Morrison on the Old Hammer Facebook page. It's one of the great things about that group is how many of the old guard from Games Workshop are on there and accessible and able to be asked questions. So I think Trish posted on her own Trish Carden Miniatures and Artwork page, and that's where we had the conversation. But she made a few recommendations, like waiting for the putty to be really quite firm before starting it. So I've taken those on board, and I've done a few heads since, and have kind of found a technique that seems to be working quite well. It's not quite Jez Goodwin style heads, but it's heads that I'm quite happy with. So when I get back to sculpting, which hopefully will not be more than a week or so, or hopefully not be long term, fingers crossed, I will get onto that. But yes, so yeah, sympathies for anybody who is injured, is unable to do the things that they want. I think most creative people will understand the frustration of not being able to get on and do the creative things that you do. Sometimes I guess you've got to read the signs and stop ahead of causing yourself further damage. What that has meant, though, is that I've had a bit of time to do some left-handed editing, and my first terrain video is going to go up today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's, as I say, it's a bit of a cut together from an extended series of videos, so it's not quite as thorough as the whole video course, but it wraps three more in-depth videos into one half-hour video. And I'm going to do another video for next week on painting the model. So check that out. I apologise, the audio is not brilliant at the very start. Something was going on with my microphone, but you should be able to hear when it gets into the important bit. So let me know what you think of that. And all being well with my wrist, that will be the start of a series. People have asked me to look at some cliffs, and I've got a couple of terrain commissions sat on back burners for whenever I'm able to get on and do that, so those will be covered as well. I've put a couple more miniatures up on the Lockdown Challenge Facebook page, so head over there, check out the new submissions, and pop your own entries up there as well. Have a nice week, and I will try and recover, and I will see you next week.